President Trump is gearing up for his grand finale tonight, wrapping up a blockbuster 5-day Asia tour that's pumped billions in new investments into America, with a high-stakes showdown with China's President Xi. Before that crucial one-on-one, Trump has been making it rain trade deals, finalizing a $350 billion agreement with South Korea. And get this, South Korea's president showed his gratitude to Trump with a full-on shrine dedicated to him. We're talking Trump sneakers, Trump perfume, even Melania's book, and even a T-shirt with his mugshot front and center. And that's not all. He also gifted President Trump a golden crown and medal. Watch.
It is really beautiful. I'd like to wear it right now.
I have an extra one.
Those No Kings protesters will surely melt down over the sight of Trump's golden crown and the loss of their favorite freak-out topic. President Trump is ruling out a third term.
I don't want to even talk about that because, you know, the sad thing is I have my highest numbers that I've ever had, as I should. I ended 8 cores, and we have the greatest economy in history, and I have the best numbers for any president in many years, any president. And I would say that if you read it, it's pretty clear I'm not allowed to run. It's too bad. I missed him, sir. But we have a lot of great people.
Too bad. But now that Trump's ruled out a third term, what will liberals freak out about now?
If he files to run for presidency and attempts to run for elections and then circumvents and ignores the rules, he's a violation of the Constitution of the United States and he should be arrested.
I hope we're absorbing in our souls, because we're talking about the soul of America, I don't think he takes himself seriously, but he iterates, he throws things out, and he plays with it, and he sees how people react, and it manifests.
If Donald Trump continues to do what he's doing across the country in Republican states, it is very hard for Democrats to just sit back and watch him cheat.
Oh, Jessica, tell me that they don't actually believe what they're saying.
Well, this is a new tune for Donald Trump anyway about the third term. He does like to flirt with it. And, you know, Steve Bannon was doing an interview with The Economist. It wasn't like he was doing a live stream with Alex Jones. He was actually sitting down with The Economist, and he said he will be president again in 2028. There are lots of ways that they can do this. And the reporter interviewing him said, well, what about the 22nd Amendment? And he said, you know, we've got a plan. So Trump has demonstrated that he doesn't leave easily, I guess, when he lost a free and fair election in 2020. So I think there is reason to be concerned about that. But I want to focus on this Asia trip. The fact that our allies continue to have, I guess, gotten the memo that Donald Trump is only satiated, made happy, whatever it is, if you treat him like a toddler playing dress up and, you know, give him the crown that he wishes for or have a merch stand for them. I think it's a really sad reflection of the state of our allyship across the world. We'll see what South Korea actually invests back into America, but they have been scared of Donald Trump and what he's been threatening since his first term, when he said, for instance, that he's going to remove 10,000 troops, take them out of South Korea, which obviously leaves them incredibly vulnerable. This trip, though, overall is about Trump coming hat in hand to China and saying, will you please buy our soybeans again? I mean, the tariffs with China have created huge amount of pain for Americans, especially for our farmers. And what I'm really worried about, and we'll see what deal actually gets done, is that he is teasing the fact that he may allow them to buy NVIDIA chips and this Blackwell chip, which is, 20 times more powerful than the chips that they're already allowed to buy. So people who are concerned about the AI race wars with China should be very scared about the fact that he's considering that to be one of the concessions for us to be able to do another trade deal with them.
So, Joey, in a way, that sort of proves one of the points that circulates in my head, which is that there's sort of a focus on this very important but nominal aspect of pageantry while ignoring
I can't believe Jessica would step all over South Korean culture that way. I mean, call it what, a merch stand? I mean, obviously that's
South
something
Korean
that means
culture does not like
obviously
a mugshot
that's something
t-shirt.
that means a lot to them. That big tall crown and what was that other thing? A mirror or something? I don't know what it was, but you know, like that's their culture. They're trying to present it to him, give him the best welcome they can because they're so happy that someone who knows how to make a deal showed up, not someone who might fall asleep in the middle of let's make a deal. So I think it's a great thing. President Trump was never going to run for a third term, and Bannon talks in riddle a little bit. So maybe he's talking about J.D. Vance. Maybe he's talking about President Trump, as in the idea of America first, and MAGA will absolutely have a chance at the White House again, which is true. Because if it isn't J.D. Vance, Ron DeSantis embodies that a pretty good bit. And there's probably, I mean, we have a deep bench, Jessica. We have a really deep bench.
Quaking in my boots.
We have something other than whatever Gavin Newsom is with that weird voice thing he's creating right now.
I throw no stones about a bad voice. So,
So Dana, talk to us about messaging and the control of it. Is that something that has been lost here, or is it simply a joke by the president that now the Democrats, without a sense of humor, have ran with? What is happening right now?
Well, thanks for the question. So I think in terms of messaging, when you think about a visual story, right, the Asia trip so far has been great. And the fact that there's smiles and joy, and we'll see how the China meeting goes, but leading up to that the president has re-solidified allyships with all of these other countries is a good thing. And if they want to give him a crown, like maybe the media can freak out about it, but it was a nice gesture. I do believe that the messaging on third term was beginning to block out the sun, and that the juice wasn't worth the squeeze anymore to keep trolling. Because at some point, that is all anybody can talk about. And President Trump has this long list of achievements that he would like to talk about and wants people to make sure they can roll all those things off the top of their head. But if the only thing that Democrats are going to think about for the next 3 years is the possibility of him usurping the Constitution and running for a third term, and I think that guy said he should be arrested if he were to do so. If that's going to do that, then every other headline gets completely pushed out. So I think it's very smart communications-wise for him to take this off the table. And if it is some of the people that used to work for him going out there and saying, I know he can, they at least have heard the clarion call from the commander-in-chief himself saying, it's not happening. So actually, can we talk about things that I want to get done right now?
Greg, what do you think?
What do I think? That's a great question, Emily. You know, 2025, we are truly in the golden age, and which is hilarious when you think about 2015, which was really when the Trump era began, and the Dems and Republicans both tried to frame him for a golden shower. So it's so fitting that 10 years later, they're the ones getting peed on. I mean, even foreign countries are getting in on the trolling. You know, South Korea gives him the crown, and it's not because, they're so foolish, they're indulging an egotistical leader. No, they're like the guy that kneels behind the angry, gets on all fours behind the angry never-Trumper, and Trump just pushes him over. That's all they're doing. They're just having fun. And this is what's great about being a Republican today. Our recreational beliefs are awesome, but they're harmless. You know, believing Trump is going to run, saying he's going to run, it's not going to lead, Republicans to mutilate their kids or put men in women's bathrooms or force generations to put off having kids because of climate change. Our recreational beliefs don't encourage people to kill their political opponents. Our recreational beliefs are simply kind of fun. They're joyfully annoying, but it's not deadly. And if it does upset you, God, you better get outside because you've been doom scrolling too long. Of course, Trump, he's going to deny that he's running for a third term. But don't you believe it, Dems? I would not believe it. He's definitely doing it. The more he denies it, the more he means yes. I would be safe and assume that he's going to be around here till 2032. Of course, he'll bring up the 12th Amendment, but they'll bring up the 22nd Amendment. They're just going to make him Secretary of State. Because whether it is Marco or JD, it's the surest way to enshrine America first and MAGA in the next term or two is to have Trump in the room. It's like, you look at the track record of the safest airlines. The pilot with the most seniority is the co-pilot, not the captain. That's because then it's not so bad. You can actually criticize the president. And Trump will criticize. He'll be there. And it's so much better to have him in the room than, at home, calling in Fox and Friends in the morning, doing Hannity at night, selling Relaxium during my hour. No, we want him in the room to ensure this continues.
I think we're going to need him to run for mayor of New York.
Yes, that would be nice. I'll take that too, but I'd rather have him Secretary of State.
Click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You won't get it anywhere else.